Anger. Let's talk about anger. Basics on anger. What I mostly want to talk to you today about is this concept called the anger funnel. They say that anger is a secondary emotion, which really means there are other emotions usually going on, but we choose anger, or it automatically happens that we feel angry because it's less vulnerable for us. It's easier. We feel safer when we show anger, especially for men. It's not accepted to be vulnerable, and it's not accepted to show a lot of emotions that maybe are happening underneath of the anger, so anger comes out instead. That's why it's secondary, and primary emotions are the ones that everybody has, they just don't always let themselves feel them, which are things like sadness and hurt and pain, right? So showing anger is more accepted even for men culturally, and it makes ourselves feel like we're safer. It's almost like a survival reaction, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. That's like the fight in it. So this is the anger funnel here. And as you can see, we take all of these emotions up on top. Things like jealousy and guilt and pain, feeling accused or blamed for something, all of these more vulnerable emotions, and we funnel them into anger, which then can also be rage and violence if they go more extreme. And a lot of people will do this, it's not like at once. It's almost like the funnel fills up and then it explodes into anger. So they stuff things, don't talk about them to people, don't share how they're feeling with people until they explode into rage, right? Or it can come out even more slowly than that on a day-to-day basis. So you can feel irritated daily, all day, every day, irritated, frustrated. That's still anger. And it's most likely this other stuff is going on here, right? This happens a lot with people with anxiety, where they don't like to feel that anxiety all the time, so they'll feel frustrated all the time instead. But the problem is that if these things are not dealt with, this is not going to be resolved either. So we need to figure out what is really causing the anger and then deal with these emotions. People say you're angry, go punch something, go hit something. That's not actually solving the real problem, though. It's going to relieve the anger short term, but it's not a long-term solution. Just like using drugs is not a long-term solution to get rid of feelings either. We have to deal with the real feelings that are happening, which means we have to figure out, what am I feeling? What is really going on? We're not taught in school about emotions a lot, right? I mean, we're taught very young, I guess, sadness, anger, but past kindergarten, we don't talk about emotions that much. So that is a problem, because then we don't know what emotions we're really feeling. We don't have like a good emotional IQ. So learning these things is part of therapy. Learning, like, what am I actually feeling? What does that actually look like? How does it actually feel is really important. And this sheet, which you can find these all over the internet, has the faces that might go with the emotion. So maybe you don't really know what some of these emotions mean. Maybe you don't really know what mischievous means. But this guy's face, you can tell he's feeling a little naughty or something like that. So you can find these sheets online if you're not sure what your emotions really are, or come to therapy and we can help you figure out what your emotions are. And then once you can start identifying them, then deal with the ones that you're really having. Like if you're really having a lot of anxiety, we can teach you skills to relax, to feel more calm, and then you're not going to feel anxious anymore. But if you are coming in angry and you don't know what the other emotion is, a relaxation skill might not work. It could still work, it's still worth a try, but it's easier to deal with the problem if we know what is really going on. So these other things are what's really going on. And how great would that be if, instead of going around your family, your friends all the time and saying, I don't know, I'm just angry, you could say, you know what, I'm really hurt. Like, it seems so vulnerable to do that, but how much would they appreciate you being honest about it? And maybe you could teach them to be better with emotions too. Because just speaking from my family, they didn't know how to speak about their emotions either, so I had to teach them more how to do it. So it's not your fault. This is not your fault. This is more of a society thing, but it also is your responsibility to change it if you want to feel better. It can help a lot to do it. So come to us, come talk to us about anger and your feelings with it. And if you are someone that's in a situation, though, where your partner is angry all the time and they're struggling and they have gotten violent, though, please call for help. I'm going to put the number for DASIS below again. Call them, call the shelter, call the domestic violence hotline, and get help from them, because it's not your responsibility to teach this person to change their emotions either. They have to do that themselves, and if they're violent, that's not safe for you or maybe your kids, and it's not a good situation to stay in. So seek help for it. Okay, thank you.